So, I gotta be honest. It's very strange to be here.
Why?
Because we're still here at Sirius XM.
Oh, you mean in general? Yes, it is.
It's very strange to be here, and I guess we should tell the people we're going to be here for a little while longer. And I'm excited, but it's just strange considering everything that went down.
Yeah,
I never thought we would be here past October 1. So I don't know what to say. I feel strange being here, and I just need to say that. We looked at a lot of possibilities, and there were possibilities, but it just wasn't. It wasn't anything that we were willing to, pull the switch on. So
my biggest hesitation, it was the same hesitation I felt when Anthony was here.
Right.
It's nothing to do with you. It's literally, I just feel stagnant, which has, again, you get like that in your career and in your life. You start to feel like, fuck, man, I'm stagnant. And I want to do this. It's not, the two things I really, really want to do, and now a third thing, which actually are not happening as fast as I want them to.
Right.
And I'm like, am I an impatient asshole, or am I just a stagnant pond scum fucking jizzbag? Like, what is it?
Right.
And it's the radio show won't make or like, it helps a lot to have. I love a steady gig. I have fun coming in here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to, if I leave the radio show, then what? Like, okay, this company is still not, meaning the other company is still not doing what I want them to do fast enough.
Right.
And company 3 is still not doing what I want them to do fast enough. So what the fuck? I gain nothing.
Right. Yeah, I didn't sleep last night because this is really a strange situation. I've been having a lot of fun here lately, but I don't know. Just how it all went down with Anthony and stuff, it still leaves a bad taste in your mouth, you know? But then Anthony quickly moved on to do his own thing, and then we're left in this really strange, like I said on day one, shitty position. Like, what do we do? What do all the people do around us? There was absolutely some interest from regular radio, but they're not ready to really, pull the trigger on what they want to do. Something here in New York City, and now, like, you fast forward 3 months, and we're going to continue here. Really strange. I mean, in all fairness, they have completely left us alone down the hall. They haven't fucked with us at all. When I talked to Scott Greenstein, he absolutely left the door open for, a return. I don't know when that could possibly happen or if it happens at all.
That was also a fear.
Because that was something I discussed with him when we were negotiating. I'm like, where are we at with this? And I think... they haven't officially told me, but I think they know they kind of might have fucked up on that whole thing.
Yeah.
So, and he basically told me, not ready right now, but it's certainly something we could look at. But I don't even know if, Ant wants that.
I think that Ant would, and again, I haven't said to him, do you want to come back?
Right.
I think that it's like he likes what he's doing. I think he likes the fact that he's his own boss, but it's also you miss your friends. It's like, it's not just, people think that when we come in, it's just management. It's like, there's also other friends we have here. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, I see you every day. I see fucking Sam every day. Kenny every day, Travis, E-Rock. It's like, there are people here that I really like being around. As much as we joke and shit on them, like, I love these guys. Like, I don't want to just not see my friends every day. Right.
Well, plus all the comics.
Yeah.
That come in. We're all very close. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
I'll tell you what my fear was. That, we leave angrily. Fuck this, I'm not re-signing. And all of a sudden, Anthony comes back. Well, that was my fear. And then it's you and Anthony, and they're like, well, we'll just save the money on Jim's.
Right.
Like, I'm here. Mm-hmm. So, there's an open seat right here where I want Anthony Cumia to sit.
Right.
But if he comes back now, they're not going to fire me. Mm-mm. But if I quit... and then Anthony comes back. I'm not saying I'm out.
Right.
What are they going to say? All right, we'll bring back Anthony and Jim. No, they're going to go, all right, look, the fans want Anthony. Let's put Anthony back in there. It'll be Opie and Anthony. And Jim, maybe down the road. I know that's what would happen.
The frustrating part of the whole thing is the people that think it's as easy as, just going out to Long Island and continuing the show. It's really obvious. And if you're a hardcore fan, you know this. And I don't know why you don't vocalize this better. It was obvious that Ant was ready to do his own thing for now. That's so obvious. We work closely with Anthony, so it was obvious to us, but it should be obvious to the fans at this point that he wants to kind of do his own thing.
Yeah, he was ready to do it.
He was so ready.
I think he misses it, though, man. I really do.
Well, he told me he missed this, but he's also he told me that he's having a good time doing his thing right now. And honestly, this is a new fun. I can't explain it. I had a blast with Anthony for 20 years, but this has kind of been fun, too, because it's different and new.
Yeah. I miss him though, man. You know, I do.
Right.
I miss him. I miss having just, and it's like not to be all melancholy and you know what I mean, but like it's not. People think like when we talk, it's like it's not that we don't. It's just there's a giant person who was here that's not here.
Right.
It's like somebody and it was unexpected. It wasn't like Anthony retired.
Right.
Like if he had said, guys, I'm not going to redo this anymore. I'm gonna in 6 months I'm done. That would have been much easier because then you prepare yourself and you it's an easier transition. But just to have this guy. Gone. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, it's really strange.
Yeah.
So I felt like we should just talk about it for a few minutes.
I have not handed in my contract. I have it. I think today I have to. I haven't been avoiding it. I brought it in Friday and they weren't here because of the Jewish holiday. So they called yesterday. Where's your
right?
You know. But I texted Ant first and talked to him. Again, he didn't. It wasn't like I had to. I just talked to him and said, look, this is what I'm doing. And as a courtesy, like. To my friend, but yeah, it is weird. The walls are beige now.
Yeah,
the walls are beige and weird.
We're back to that beige color. Supposedly, they swear they're going to redo this whole studio, and that's a top priority. That was discussed when we were talking to management about continuing here. So
yeah, we'll see.
And I told them that I'm like, come on, you've told me that a million fucking times, so I'll believe it when I see it. They're like, no, that's really a priority from the main guy upstairs. So,
or if they decided that they might have made an error in judgment, which happens with companies. It's companies reverse themselves all the time. Look at Walmart.
Yeah.
Weren't they all in with, well, look, we're going to accept full responsibility, and now it's basically, what is it? Tracy's a piece of shit who didn't wear his belt and he owes us money. Like, boy, did they fucking change their tune quick.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
When that accident occurred, they said, we'll take full responsibility to make this right. And yeah, like Jimmy said, it comes out today. I guess they're already, starting some pre-trial stuff or whatever they're doing. And one of the lawyers for Walmart basically said it's Tracy Morgan's fault because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Wow.
And it's hard not to hate that corporation, like hate them for that. But is that just a lawyer thing so they don't lose $100 million? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just a lawyer has to do that.
It seems like a lawyer has to do it, I guess. But wow, that's pretty fucking harsh. To blame it on Tracy not wearing a seatbelt. The fucking guy was asleep at the wheel.
Yeah,
he was asleep at the wheel.
Well, they say that now they deny that, so I don't know if he was or not.
So maybe we should say that's what was coming out at first. So they're starting to deny that.
That was the story, and he always said he wasn't. He always said that he was not driving too many hours. That was that guy Kevin, whatever his name is. His story was always, no, I was not overtired or whatever.
Right.
I just made a mistake, I think. But, the lawyers, they really, when they represent a company and they do shit like that, it just makes you fucking hate them so much. Mm-hmm. Like, I get that they have to fight it to a certain degree. Because the lawyer for Tracy will try to get a lot of money. That's what lawyers do. His lawyer's not going to go, all right, guys, let's be fair. His lawyer's going to go in there with a fucking pickaxe.
Right.
And try, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So they kind of have to...
But that's just brutal.
I'd love to know what they're asking for.
I mean, Tracy's still hurting.
Yeah, and I know Artie is too. He's not been at the cellar. He's not been around at all. And believe me, I'm telling you, when I saw him, he was not the same guy.
Right.
And I hate to say that, but he was not the same
That's
guy.
Artie Fuqua, who we know very well, but he didn't really make the headlines because Tracy Morgan was the big star in that group, although Artie's hilarious in his own right and has done a lot of shows with Jim Norton and many other people from this radio show.
And the cellar every night he hosted.
And he had a pretty serious head injury.
I might have even been worse than Tracy's. I mean, I didn't see Tracy, but and Artie had that real fucking horrible year. His son died.
Right.
In a freak basketball playing thing, like just the way it could happen to anyone playing.
What was it? An elbow to the chest
elbow
or
to the
something?
head, but it wasn't even aggressive. I think it was just like a guy that went up for the ball and coming down with a rebound or going. It was like one of those things.
And just hit him just right.
Just caught him right in the head. A total fucking fluke thing. This young guy, 18, I think he was, or 17.
Right.
So poor Artie's had a fucking horrible year and a half.
Man.
So maybe they're asking for so much money and Walmart has to fight back somehow. I don't know, but this is really, it just makes you hate companies. So anyway, the point was that companies do reverse the way they look at things.
Right.
So there's no way that Sirius could go like, look, all right, man, we reacted. We're people and fucking Washington Post is calling us. And what are we supposed to do? Maybe they come back in a few months and go, look, we understand that the fans really tremendously miss this chemistry and whatever.
Well, we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, Anthony's doing quite well over there.
He's actually monetarily, I know he is. I mean,
he's banking.
Yeah.
and he's having a good time. That's pretty obvious to
No
everyone
boss.
that knows him.
That's got to be nice. No boss. Like, even though, again, Wicklund doesn't break balls, he just comes over and he smiles and he's decent. And he's fine. I like Don.
Are you saying Don Wicklund is our boss?
Well, yes, he's the boss.
That's terrific. That's terrific.
I do understand why you'd say that.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's, they have not been breathing down our necks or any of that stuff. But not having a boss is kind of nice too. Like, knowing you can't be fired.
Sure.
Has got to be a good feeling.
To the interest in the local radio station, it was a station, it was a company, it was a possible, multi-station thing across the country. Just to correct this guy, did that include Anthony when they spoke with you? Yes, it did. But they're certainly not ready.
I'm happy that, to be honest with you, terrestrial radio right now, I'd rather just sit there and talk to a fucking room full of old people than terrestrial radio. Yeah. The nightmare that would be them coming in. All right, guys, the Cumia isn't what it was. We're going to need you to do this. We got this consultant. Jim, we're going to do this thing, the Tuesday morning funnies. You can talk to, that would fucking blow.
Over the years, I've been very vocal about this place and did a lot of bitching. But the fact remains, they've never told us, not to do anything. The only on-air incident we ever had was the homeless Charlie thing. But then in the end, in the end they fucked us.
Well, certain
I
bits
forgot
too.
that it wasn't regular radio on that one, which surprised the fuck out of me.
What?
The homeless Charlie.
Right. They that was where the one thing where regular radio saved the career of this show.
Yeah.
Because it would have been over, and fucking Hugh Panaro would have dumped this show.
Oh, he wanted us gone. It was Eric Logan who. Did I ever tell this story? I was walking somewhere on, I think, 10th Avenue, and I just remember where I'm at when these ridiculous phone calls come in from management. Like when we got fired and Bob called me, it was outside the Starbucks on Columbus Avenue and 66th Street. Okay, so the homeless Charlie thing goes down, and we knew it was really fucking bad because Hugh Panaro just did not fucking like us, did not understand the show, and basically said that the first time I ever met him, which is about 10 years ago today, by the way. 10 years ago tomorrow, 10 years ago, right around now, we signed a contract with Sirius.
Wait, wasn't it? Didn't you sign earlier though? You have to wait.
Actually,
you signed in the beginning of August,
right? And then came on board.
Do you have that picture? I want to send that out today.
October 4th, we started on the air.
Could you send that picture?
Which one? Down in DC.
Yeah, of us signing.
Yeah, let me find it.
When did we sign?
Sometime in the first week of August, you signed. I think around the 4th.
Yeah, because CBS was holding us to a no-compete. So even though we sat out 2 years, then they made us sit out another 3 or 4 months.
4 months.
Was it 4 months?
Yep.
So we were allowed to start, finally signing with another company, but we weren't allowed to work. We had offers right away, but CBS, wow, did they take a fist and shove it up our asses.
Yeah, you were done in June with CBS. Of 2004, and you had to wait till October.
Well, I'll tell you why we had to wait, because we had a deal with Sirius X. We had, I keep saying Sirius XM. We pretty much we were going to go to Sirius, and then what happened? They stopped calling us. Actually, it was Scott Greenstein who stopped calling us. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then we got word that, they knew they were going to grab Howard, so they didn't need us anymore. So they kind of left us out to dry.
Yeah.
And then we went back to XM and said, all right, what do you want to work out here? So that's how that went down. But anyway, so then the homeless Charlie thing happened, and Hugh Panaro, I think he saw his opportunity to get rid of us because he never liked us. He would probably say that too. And then I'm walking somewhere on 10th Avenue, and the phone rang, and it was Eric Logan. I've never heard him like this in my life. We've been pretty close for a while, even though he's management, so you got to be a little careful. But I've never been closer to anyone like Eric Logan. And he goes, all right, listen to me and listen to me closely. I was like, whoa, this is what's going to happen. I'm suspending you. And I go, what? He goes, listen. He was really his tone was so harsh. I'm suspending you guys for 30 days. I'm like, what? And every time I try to comment, he shut me up. He goes, this is the best I could do. They want you guys gone. You have to accept this. You have to deal with this. And I will be able to get you back in 30 days. I was like, wow.
He was true
over
to the
the homeless fucking Charlie thing?
Over a homeless guy saying stuff. It's amazing.
And the only reason CBS didn't yank the show, their justification was, it didn't happen on our air.
Yeah.
And I think they thought at the time if, Sirius XM, no, it was XM, sorry, I keep saying that. It was XM still. If they got rid of the show, then they could get the full show because they were getting only, part of the show.
Right. 3 hours.
They were only getting the 3 hours. They wanted that fourth hour badly. And so that's how that went down. But Eric Logan, I'll never forget that phone call, just shutting me up like, you listen and you listen closely. And I still was fighting for us. I'm like, what? But it's like, nope, listen, they want you gone. The board wants you guys gone. And we'll do this.
That was a Breitbart story, and they said, will it affect the merger?
Right.
Like how would that affect the merger? How would some bum, who was a very funny bum, by the way,
hilarious,
making jokes, it's like affect the merger?
It was hilarious. It was very harsh, obviously, but that sometimes comedy is very harsh.
Of course it was. So is dramatic dialogue,
and we're experts at this. As he's doing that, none of us were sitting there going, "Oh boy, we're in trouble." We did say, I think we did some things like, oh, you're crazy. There's things you do as a broadcast, like, oh, you're nuts, just to show the people you're aware of the situation at hand and you're protecting your ass and the show. Not for once did I think that, we would get suspended or slashed, possibly fired over what he was saying.
I laughed. And Bill Burr was in that day, right?
Funny.
Wasn't Burr here that day?
I believe so, yeah.
That was the old XM studio with the before it was even fit with the glass.
Yeah.
Where they could sit right outside that fucking glass fishbowl and watch us.
Yeah.
I think Bill was in, and just the whole Condoleezza Rice, and I'll never forget when Charlie goes, "What about that Bush bitch?"
Right.
Only a funny guy says something like that.
You can picture that on a stage, right?
That's a funny guy, yeah. But whatever, it was just so stupid.
So
that's the one on-air thing. Besides that, and any of the bits we wanted to do, we got squashed on. Any of the physical bits, like let's do this, let's do that, let's go here. Nope.
You know what? You're right. I forgot about that. I forgot because it's been a few years now. You're right. It's been those over-the-top bits that they kind of said no to. They said no to naked women and stuff because Bubba the Love Sponge shoved something up something. Right? Is that how the story goes, E-Rock? So then
yeah, that sounds right.
And then, so they basically told everyone that you can't shove things up girls anymore. Yeah. I can't believe they even have to address that.
But the 50-gallon drum, but there was no room in here to do it anyway. I mean, the XM studio, we could have fucking done a great thing over there.
Right.
Didn't even they say no to it or no? Why did we ever do that to the XM? We could have.
I don't remember. I think we were just kind of over that because it was getting crazy. Because when we came back to radio, we also realized, except for that one incident, where we had to calm our shit down. We didn't want to fucking sit out another 2 years, 3 months, or whatever it was.
Right. Well, plus, then go where after that shit?
Nowhere. We barely got the gig at XM.
Yeah, I remember.
We barely got it.
I met Opie at the train that day. You came out of Penn Station, I think it was, and like I was like your fucking girl, and you just come back from the nom, and I was standing there waiting, and that's when you told me that you signed.
Yeah, because I told you I was going down there to talk to those guys and try to figure it out because they were kind of passing on us because we sort of had Sirius and XM, and Sirius seemed like the place at the time because we knew a bunch of the guys here, like Jeremy Coleman, who has completely blown us off since the NEW days, but I still knew him. And a few others, and then all of a sudden they stopped talking to us because they knew they were getting Howard.
It's such a weird business. Like, you don't know, especially when it comes to management. Like, the guys you work with are consistent, but like with management, like guys that like you today don't like you tomorrow. Guys that you trust today, you cannot trust tomorrow because they're gunning for. It's just such a fucking weird. Maybe it's like that with every job people have. Maybe it's like that for all you guys out there. But, I always have a sense of it when someone is, and people think I'm paranoid, I'm crazy, but I'm not. It's like, when you're on stage every night and your whole thing is to read the room, like that's your whole job. And when somebody says something, immediately you got to know, yeah, what did you do? Okay, is this guy A, trying to fuck me and ruin my show? Is he having fun with me? Is he just a little bit drunk? Is he like, there's a bunch of options. So you have to know how hard to smash this guy. Or do you not smash him? Do you play with him? So it's like you kind of learn to make those extremely fast snap judgments with people. You pick up on that energy very quickly.
Right.
So I can kind of tell, like, when someone in management is trying to stick it up my ass fast. It's usually one or two little things they do, and you're like, I immediately know what this guy wants. And it's like, wow, I fucking trusted that guy at one point. I'm so glad I read that cocksucker as well as I did.
Anyone you want to mention?
No, I mean, I shouldn't even say that cocksucker. You just kind of feel, I wish people on the management side sometimes, or others would just be more honest about how they felt.
Right.
Because you're like, I know that you're not for me. Oh, no, I am.
Right.
You're not.
Right.
I'm a fucking 46-year-old man. I mean, I know you're a boss, but I'm not stupid.
Been around long enough to know the difference.
Just living. You know what I mean? Just living, you can usually, it's a sense. We have that sense. It's almost like when you're out with somebody and you're going to go buy a used car. You kind of, you get that fucking vibe from somebody that something's wrong.
Right.
And they tell you no.
Right.
And then after that person's gone, then other people are like, yeah, you were right. I'm like, I know I was right. I sensed it. And this is not about Wickland, by the way. I do love Don Wickland.
Yeah, Don's been great. He's a soldier.
Yeah.
He's always been a soldier for us.
Yeah. Sometimes
Always.
he kisses my neck, and that's uncomfortable. Sometimes he'll rub my back and tell me I'm doing a good job and gently peck my neck.
He's a bit kiss-assy at times, but besides that, he's a soldier. Right, Sam? A soldier.
Love Don Wickland.
Yeah, I mean, he's a smooth guy. Like, he knows how to... He survived the merger. That's a big... But, you know, I think he's genuinely a good dude.
One of the few.
Yeah. I actually liked Gary. You know, I know Gary got a lot of shit here. I really did like Gary. Even though all right, fair enough. But I had a lot of good chats with Gary, and, you know, this might not have been the proper gig for him, but he was okay.
I have small talk with him now.
Yeah, me too, in the bathroom.
So weird.
Have you always been this gifted? What's the trophy?
He never
What do you mean,
picked it
what's
up.
the trophy? That's his participation trophy that we gave him
not good.
at the end of his run.
World's greatest secretary.
Well, that's what he was. He was a good secretary.
Ouch.
These beige walls are fucking bumming me out.
Well, they're going to put something up.
Yeah, but I've submitted my picture many times to be blown up and put on the air.
We should put one big picture of
Norton and
Chip.
Friends. Fuck yeah, we should.
One big picture of Chip.
Why not? Who's to say?
What?
It could be very popular. I was sad this morning.
Huh?
I was just sad.
What?
Just this morning, I was like, I'm not in a bad mood. I'm just like, a little down the dumps.
About the situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't sleep last night. I just kept thinking about it over and over again. I mean, you know, me and Anthony did 20 years of fucking radio. That's a solid run. Really solid run. I'm not thinking it's over either. You know? I
really look at you guys like you're my parents who have just been separated. That's all it is. My parents have separated briefly. They were quarreling. You know, Daddy was caught at the office putting his penis into a black woman, and Mother's upset.
We weren't quarreling.
No, I know you weren't. But I'm saying that's how not at all you weren't. But I'm saying that's how I have to look at it as parents, because parents don't have management fire one, so I have to look at it in a way that
we were getting along.
You were getting along great.
We were getting along better than we have in a bunch of years. So
yeah.
I mean, it's a long haul. Most of the 20 years, I said it many times in the show, were great. But it was a long fucking haul for us. We went through a lot of shit that we had to deal with management, and you know, I don't know. It gets a bit irritable in here at times.
Well, being part of a team, you know, and I'm sure Anthony has the same thing with this. If you're part of a team, it's like, all right, we're a successful team, but then there's always that thing as individuals where you're like, okay, where am I at as an individual, as a performer? And it has to be something that drives you crazy on some level. And I'm sure he would feel the same way. Like, what can I do on my own as a performer and as a person?
Right.
I mean, I always had my stand-up. Like, you guys, you're Opie and Anthony, but I can always go out and do gigs. Like, I know as Jim Norton, I have that. Like, this is something I love being a part of, but I knew I had something else.
Right.
But for you guys, it was only this.
Yeah, and it was awesome. It was really, really awesome.
But do you think, like, okay, now that he's gone and it was nothing that we did, where am I at as a performer on my own? I'm sure I would love to ask him the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I did it on my own, and I was successful. I wasn't, I was more successful teaming up with Anthony, but I had a good run on my own, and it's kind of fun to just have something different as an entertainer, to be honest with you. And also knowing that that's always something that we could get back to possibly. And I know he's feeling the exact same way. I know he is.
Yeah.
I absolutely know he is. He's excited to be running his own show. And it has to be said, if he was the one that stayed, he wouldn't have left. He just wouldn't have left. I think 10 years ago, maybe even 7 years ago, I'm just throwing numbers out there. If one of us got fired, the other guy would have left immediately. Yeah. Absolutely. But things just changed for whatever reason. Not in a bad way, not in a good way. They just changed. Anthony would not have left here if I got fired.
No, he wouldn't have, and then he wouldn't have left if I got fired. We talked about that. He's like, no, of course not.
And if you got fired, we wouldn't have left.
You wouldn't need to. The show would have just collapsed. No, of course not. Though I understand that.
We just wouldn't. That's as honest as I can be to the people.
Unless it was an on-air situation. The difference is if it was an on-air situation, if we were all three of us or any of us were having a discussion and one thing got misconstrued and then that person got fired, there's a different thing there where the other two would almost have to, like, look, we were sitting right, but I know if I got fired that the show would have continued without me and it would have continued without you. It's just... Because you get to a point where you start to accumulate shit, and like you like your life, and it's like, fuck, man, I like knowing that I'm okay. It's not that I don't care about things or I don't. Money's everything to me, but I've been at this for a long time in my life, and so have you. And it's like you start to want to know your bills are going to get fucking paid. You know, I mean, they're not knocking my door down to fucking give me a TV show.
Right.
They just, which means I'm not talented enough, or B, for what, it's just not going to happen. But I like that this is a gig I pay my fucking bills with. Yeah, that's important.
And it makes it easier knowing Ant's doing well, too,
He's doing better than well, I think. It's depressing, actually. Like, to fucking know, he just all of a sudden...
I think he might be making more.
It's very possible.
He might be making more, so...
And it's a good setup.
He was here.
I've done this show a couple of times. It's just a good setup. You're sitting there, you're on camera. The only thing I didn't like is the cameras are right in front of me. I can actually watch myself on TV. It's very distracting. Like, when I do realize that the visual gift I am giving people. Like, it's hard when I think, like, I look better than I thought on camera, as Sam has commented many times.
Well, they're
great.
Thank you.
They're supposedly redoing the studio. It's embarrassing to even say this into a microphone.
Why? It looks good like this.
And supposedly there will be cameras again, where we could throw some clips up every day.
Why? We look. The studio looks terrific.
I'm embarrassed that I have to say that into a microphone. And then they're like, no, this time though. This time though.
Well, it all looks good.
So we'll see. Eric in Baltimore writes, tired of you guys complaining about your jobs. You need to get a therapist in there. We haven't.
We're not complaining.
I think the complaining has been way the fuck down. Sam?
Yes, you've been complaining significantly less.
It's been way the fuck
months.
down. I know that was a hindrance for a while there, but there was such a frustration. I didn't know how to fucking get things done. So you yell and scream like a little bitch.
We're not complaining at all right now. We miss our friend. How is that complaining? I'm not saying fuck everybody. I just won't deal with lies. I just won't deal with it. So, I mean, to Eric, I'm not dealing with your lies. The fact is, the complaining is way the fuck down. But the fuck down. Yeah,
and it has been for a while. It started happening before, the Anthony situation, that the bitching, got less and less.
But if we're not talking about the way it's contract time. That's why we're talking about it. If we don't talk about it, people accuse us of avoiding it. And then if we talk about it, you need a therapist, you're complaining. Like, what are we supposed to do? Is there how many minutes would you like us to discuss this, and in what fashion? We're trying to be honest.
Yeah, this is a big deal. A lot of people want to know what the hell's going on. I feel really strange. I didn't sleep last night. I feel happy that I could continue doing radio, something I started when I was 18 years old. But under the circumstances, it just feels very strange. This should be kind of a happy day. When you sign a new contract, it's usually like, yeah, fuck, this is awesome. But it just feels strange. But I am happy that I get to continue doing what I love.
Yeah, and
I wasn't ready to just completely go away, and I'm not ready to just jump into the the podcast world. There's a lot of money to be made there, but I'm just not ready to do it.
Anthony, there's a place here. Like my goal or what I want is I want him to come back. Like that's what I want. I want this structure is here. So if they realize like, okay, man, like that was not, maybe we reacted harshly and a bit whatever. Fuck it. Put him back.
I asked Scott point blank, and he's, he was like, we need a little more time, but he gave me a but. Something definitely we could certainly take a look at. I said, all right.
Like, what's wrong with the company doing that and going like, all right, we reacted a certain way, we did what we thought was punishing someone, and now the fans want a certain thing. Let's move forward and do what the fans want.
Right.
I don't think the fans are wrong to want that. When it's not. I don't even take it as a slight. You know what I mean? If you sign up for a certain thing, it's almost like if a band breaks up. This is not about the drummer being gone or the guitarist. This is like a Simon and Garfunkel. I hate to use a douchey analogy, but like two singers in a band. It's when one singer's gone, it's a tremendous difference. It's not like you can't write it off and go, AC/DC's touring without. Malcolm Young.
I don't think we ever wrote
it.
I don't think we ever wrote it off. Day one, I told everyone that we were in a really strange, shitty position. So, but it's been fun. It's been fun kind of reinventing myself. It's been fun that the show's been reinventing itself, trying to make it sound different. You know, it's been a good time.
Yeah, I mean, this should be more Uncle Paul. That's the general consensus from management, by the way. That there should be more Uncle Paul. There should be more pedophile jokes. See, if Sam left. No, I like Sam. I think Sam's a great addition to the radio channel.
Right.
That's Malcolm Young.
Ah, gotcha. Perfect.
I think Sam's very underrated.
A lot of people are obsessing about me doing Ant's show. I'm sure I'll do Ant's show eventually.
You should. It's fun.
I haven't been asked, and B, we did 20 years of radio together. You know, I'm sure eventually, we'll go over there and do something.
I just wish Ant was closer. That's the only difficult part. Is the thank you, my love. Kenny, Kenny's his cock out. 46. Maybe that's why there's no one beating my door down to give me a TV show. You say yum, and I go, Kenny's cock is out. Let's pause for laughter from the audience.
You had to stop your thought. You were mid-thought.
It was a worthless thought. I was just saying that I wish Anthony lived closer, because it is. I've gone twice. It's a very, very difficult commute to make in the afternoon.
My hell. That was my hell for so many years, trying to drive back to Huntington. I want to live in Huntington, Long Island, or somewhere close to there. I love it out there.
In the morning, it's a little different, though.
No, it just fucking sucks, that ride.
You leave a little earlier in the morning, like when Ant would leave in the right time in the morning.
But he even said, the window was ridiculously small. He had to get on the road at an exact time. If he waited 5 or 10 minutes, and then all hell was
fucked. Yeah,
right.
And he'd have a panic attack driving in.
I love the fact that Kenny just put this company through hell with his contract. It has to be said. It has to be said.
Yeah.
What did he do?
Line by line. Line by line.
Kenny is very, very efficient.
At one point, my agent, just because I was CC'd on everything, because I said, Kenny, I'll try to help you as best I can. At one point, my agent, who is very meticulous himself and very, task-oriented, his brain doesn't work creatively, although he got insulted when I told him that once, because he said, I played the French horn in the orchestra in Israel.
Exactly.
I'll have you know. I was on tour with my French horn.
He taped it to the floor and then sat on it and stood up and then sat on it. There you go. Another Jim Norton classic.
But Kenny even wore down Bob, because he's like, what about Section 2, subsection A? And Bob finally wrote back and said, Kenny, just sign the fucking thing. He finally had it, too.
Yeah, I talked to Kenny. I don't know. He's got some valid points, even though Kenny's robotic.
Oh, I'm not saying he doesn't have valid points, but I just love that he's bringing him through, sending him through the ringer.
Yeah. Because they live in this contract world of everything's in a subsection. Everything that will fuck you or help you is in a subsection, a Roman numeral. Lender promises. I'm like, am I lender? Is my company lender? I'm artist. Who's lender? Is Sirius lender? No, I'm company's lender. It's a very difficult thing to navigate.
We're talking about your contract, Kenny.
And I read every single line of my.
I'm not saying you're wrong, by the way.
You have to go over that stuff line by fucking line, because it's in those subsections and
subsection
shit.
A, numeral uno, II.
Yeah.
Hi, Ken.
Does it behoove me to keep my mouth shut because my contract's not signed yet?
Probably.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that mustache is horrendous. I will say that. Contractually, I want that off. That is terrible.
Contractually, you might not see it tomorrow.
Whoa.
Oh, no.
Kenny. Seriously?
Being negative.
I don't know. The mustache is coming back. I can't have it.
It's the first time he's grown it since 2006. He was telling me today.
You know why?
It's terrible.
Why?
Because he's been out in the hallway with pictures of the old days when he was like with Dice.
Yeah.
And he would wear like sleeveless T-shirts and have his mustache and everything. Yeah. And Troy and me have been talking about how cool he used to be and used to look and what happened. And like, this used to be your life. And what are you doing now? You don't even have the mustache anymore. And so he's growing the mustache back.
You let
so
these idiots
cool
talk you back into?
Oh, my God.
You let Sam talk you into a mustache, Kenny?
It looks cool.
It doesn't look cool.
Yeah, it does.
You know it doesn't. Kenny knows it doesn't. But yeah, he told me certain things, and it's like, I think,
He's trying to get some things done.
Yeah, but they weren't unreasonable things that he wanted to get done. They weren't unreasonable. I thought they were fair. I thought they were fair. And I go over that shit in my own deal, man. I look at it, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then Bob will be like, because Bob's a good guy, but he has 500 clients. So for Bob, he's like, all right, I'm like, no, Bob, not just. I want the wording here. And the company was okay. They changed. It was minor shit. Nothing crazy. But, you know, sometimes if you go back to them with a reasonable thing, they'll fix it. But you got to be on your own. I read every fucking contract, man. I go over it line by line.
Line by line.
And I'll ask Bob, what does this mean? Does that give them the right to do this? You know? And he said no.
In the end, they'll do whatever the fuck they want. That's what you learn.
Yeah, but they'll negotiate. I mean, you know, but you got to go give it to them and say, look,
right.
I do this when I walk in. I said, this is what I need done.
Immediately.
They like that. makes them think that you have a legal knowledge. I like this done.
I think
Post haste?
Yes.
I think Kenny's mad.
Well, yeah.
He is mad.
Yeah.
Probably feels like, you know, he wants a little support from the guys. And
Oh, I'm supporting him. I've been back and forth with Bob for him.
I'm just telling you. That's probably how he feels.
Okay. I don't want him to take that wrong. I love Kenny. And honestly, I thought he handed in his contract. I really thought it was done.
No.
And I guess it's not. So, Kenny, I apologize if you're still listening down the hall. I just thought it was funny that you were putting them through the ringer because, you know, that's always fun when you know
it's funny.
Management's going through that.
And it's funny for the radio audience to think of Club Soda Kenny as litigious because that's not the presentation that he's put forth on the air before.
But he's meant for that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's why Kenny's the greatest.
Right.
When you give him something to do, you know it's going to be done properly. Oh, my God. He crosses all T's and dots all I's.
He catches everything.
Everything.
Every little thing. Or at least raises a question and goes, okay, is this... And then you look at your own thing and go, oh, no, you're right. I didn't want to do that. And you need people like that. Not that Bob doesn't look. He does look. Bob does look.
Right.
But I caught a couple of things, and I asked Bob about them. Like, what about this? What is this?
And he went,
What is this? What is this? I have to come in a cup and hand it to them. What does that mean, Bob? And they consider it under beverage contribution. What? And just nothing. Just want to remind people that this is indeed Jim Norton. No TV show. Wonder why. Cum jokes. Kenny's cock is out. Back after this. Fuck.
All right, we're gonna take a break.
She was really crying yesterday, though.
Yeah, I felt pretty bad.
I just felt odd that she's crying that hard, and I had an erection.
I was walking down the street, and some construction guy was shouting at me, "Hey, show me your cans!" So I did. And he plummeted 17 floors and was impaled on a forklift. But my tits looked great.
Please, wow responsibly. A public service announcement of the Opie and Anthony Show.
It's the O&A virus.